Alright, so I'm Sovereign Sage and we're still doing Cyno's story chapter. So this is the third part now. And we encounter the new character that I was talking about. Still, I am a little depressed if he's really going to be a bow type, because his design is really good. And I think it would be better if he was a sword type. There is a point in the game where he fights Cyno and he uses a sword. But I don't know if that's just something he picks up, or if that's something they actually like changed it, you know, like that's actually something he has. So I actually am subbed and I follow Cyno's voice actor, and he posted a video of him clearing this, and the thumbnail was Cyno fighting that guy. So curious to see how it gets to that point. So let's keep going with this. So that guy brought us here to an underground temple, and we're trying to look for Cyrus. And we believe that he has him here, but we're trying to figure out why that guy brought all of us here and what's going on, you know. He's clearly a member of the Temple of Silence, and that's currently what we're inside of right now. But if you notice, the Temple of Silence has a bunch of Anubises everywhere, and Cyno had even mentioned that he is like possessed by the spirit that gives him his power, the Herma Anubis. So I'm wondering if they have plans on trying to steal that spirit from Cyno.
So this is the Temple of Silence.
Because why else would they bring him here?
After leaving the rainforest, they hid themselves here?
There he is.
Hey, look! That guy's coming back.
Don't worry. Someone will come and call for you soon.
What's your name?
Please at least tell us what to call you.
Sorry, guess I was so delighted to see you, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Sethos.
Right.
I'll be here if you need me, but I'm not planning on answering all of your questions. Other than that, you can occupy yourselves however you see fit.
His eyes are like melons staring into my fucking soul.
So we're free to explore by ourselves.
Yep. I mean, I'm not worried about you running off.
Why? Does it mean that we can't leave here by normal means? Yeah, I hope he notices or realizes, like I was saying in my last video, I have a slate from a world quest that I completed called the Golden Slumber. I had actually live streamed me doing that quest, I think. It was a really long quest. It's really good. That's how you meet that girl. What's her name? Jared or whatever her name is, the one that really liked Lumine. And she was like with that little mechanical thing called Ben. And I have a slate, and if you read what the description says, it literally says that it is a relic that allows you to control devices in King Deshret's ruins and anything affiliated with King Deshret himself. Now I wonder, can I actually use that slate here? Because the same symbols that are on the slate are on all the doors in this place. And I kind of wonder, like, sometimes this game ties quests together like that, and other times they don't. So it's like, what if you have somebody who's never completed that world quest? Like, is that a key item? Like, because I'm so used to playing games where you need a certain item to do something else, and if you didn't pick it up earlier in the game, you can't complete other parts of the game until you go back and actually get that. I'm so used to games being like that. So I already have it. So I'm kind of curious if it's going to be important again. I want to say no, but it's so specific, right? So I'm like,
Cyrus is here. And unless I've misunderstood, you're all quite anxious to see him again.
He's right. Well, if we've got some time, we might as well take a look around.
Is that supposed to be like him leaving? No, he's still there. Who do we talk to? Cyno or this dude? What's your deal?
Hey, Sethos! Have you got some time to chat?
He's like, absolutely not.
Sure.
He seems friendly enough, but at the same time, he gives off a vibe where it's like, I don't completely trust you at all. To me, it looks like they took Hazo and fused him with Dia. And maybe one other character. It's like they took Hazo, Dia, and Cyno and said, now fuse into one person.
Although, I'm assuming by chat, you mean you have questions for me? I don't blame you. Anyone else would.
So, you get a lot of people asking you questions.
Not often. The Temple of Silence is a place of quiet and solitude. We don't get too many visitors.
You were the one who tricked Araka, right?
Yes, that was me. Although, tricked is a stretch. He was asking everyone in the tavern about ways to make some easy money. He insisted that nothing was off the table, even if it broke the law. So, I told him that Cyrus had embezzled a large sum of Mora from the desert.
So you framed Cyrus for a crime that he did not commit?
No. That's not entirely true. Let me jog your memory. The letter just said that he had uncovered Cyrus's secret. It didn't say what secret that was.
Did you tell him to use that wording, too?
Of course. Uraka was a great accomplice, really. Very cooperative with a little bit of wine in him.
Oh my
Did
god.
exactly what he was told. And not much of an original thinker, though. It doesn't surprise me that he struggles academically.
Why did Cyrus leave for the desert as soon as he received the letter?
You'll have to ask him that one yourself. Certain things I can't answer for him. I'm neither judging nor defending him. All you need to know is that he recognized our emblem, and it was his own choice to take the bait.
Do you know Cyno?
What kind of question is that? He's the General Mahamatra. Everyone in Sumeru knows who he is.
Right, but back at the Oasis, you can't have known who he was for sure, or you wouldn't have asked him. So, what we're really asking is, have you never seen him in person before?
I've lived in the desert my whole life. Guess you could say I've never had the pleasure.
Ugh, why does Paimon feel like this guy's not being straight with us?
Come on, we've only just met. If I give you all the answers up front, you'll have nothing left to look forward to.
Have you ever been to the academia?
Nope, not once.
Really?
I have no need to go there. Not when the taverns are full of the Urakas of this world. Besides, we're well aware of what goes on at that place.
Are you saying you have spies inside the city?
Spies? It's not as clandestine as that. The city gates are wide open. Anyone's free to walk in. You can find out all you need to know just by walking around town and hearing the word on the street.
That's all I wanted to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Staring into us all. Cyno, help me.
I never imagined that the true Temple of Silence would be hidden somewhere like this. We've passed through these parts before, but never noticed anything.
Yeah, it is quite surprising, ain't it?
That's King Deshret's technology for you, I guess. It borders on the miraculous. Amazing to think that it's been preserved intact all this time.
We should be wary of our hosts. Still, at this point, we can be confident that the professor is safe and sound, so that's something.
Are you sure about that? Insert John Cena meme. Oh, I'm not gonna do that.
Ah, here he is.
That loading is unforgivable.
Grandfather, the person you wish to see is here.
Oh, he's related to him.
Well done, Sethos. Greetings, one and all. I am Ba Moon, the current leader of the Temple of Silence. I know why you are here, and I thank you for your patience. Bring him out.
What the hell is going on?
Professor!
Cyrus, are you okay?
Jesus.
Watch what you're doing!
Oh, my apologies. We have no intention of causing you distress. But you must understand, Cyrus is of great importance to us. We had to find a way to bring him back to us.
Watch it turn out that this guy is actually really related to that guy, and it's like his brother, because look at their fucking hair. Like, it's literally the same. I could be wrong.
Cyrus owes me his life, and to the Temple of Silence, he owes a debt of gratitude. I let him go a long time ago, but now, the time has come to demand payment.
I wanted to end my feud with this old bag of bones before you caught up with me. But you got here so quickly. Just leave, Cyno. This is a matter between us two old men. You're all too young to get involved.
So that's why you didn't want to report the letter. You'd made up your mind to come here from the beginning. You only left in such a hurry to try and throw us off your trail.
Some things in life catch up with you. No matter what you do, you shouldn't have come. That alone brought the others.
Cyno didn't make us do anything. We came here for the same reason he did. To rescue you. We'd appreciate you telling us the truth. Otherwise, it seems a little unfair on everyone who had to stay behind.
My secrets are secret for good reason. Bringing them to light can only lead to misfortune.
You're afraid, aren't you? You can't bring yourself to speak of your past deeds to the students you nurtured as if they were your own children. You recognized our emblem because for many years you lived among us. Indeed, you all but became one of us. You knew as soon as you saw the letter that we, not Uraka, were the ones speaking to you. It threatened you only because you know what you did. Your own guilt convicted you. For you, Cyrus, are a traitor. You once shared your learning with us, and joined us in our mission to revive the might of Hermanubis, to bring new hope, new opportunity.
But that spirit, Hermanubis, is inside Cyno right now.
But then you betrayed us. You bargained for your independence with your past contributions. And then you left, taking with you Hermanubis' might and the wielder of his power.
Ah, remember? Cyno said I had a unique constitution because I can wield that spirit. And one day when I was a kid, he brought me to the city of Sumeru because Cyno is the vessel for that spirit. So he took him away.
We both know what I said to you that day. That as the leader, I grant you permission to leave. But that one day, the sands of time will catch up with you. And when that day comes, you must pay the price you owe.
That music hitting was kind of funny. It was weird. Having those torches that close to them books is a fire hazard. You people need to stop doing this.
You really know how to hold a grudge.
Hermanubis' might? And the wielder of his power?
Cyno.
Does he mean you?
Uh-oh.
Professor, anything to say?
Man, his voice sounds so broken. But wait, if these guys are looking for the wielder, are they gonna try to capture Cyno?
The moon is right. I came here once before. They rescued me from the brink of death once, many years ago in the desert. When he learned that I was a scholar, he invited me to come here and revive the might of Hermanubis together. It was a great, daring plan, one shrouded in secrecy. The Temple of Silence had been bereft of Hermanubis for too long. The strength of its faith and its warriors were waning. Bamoon proposed that we implant fragments, shards of Hermanubis, into the bodies of suitable vessels. If the experiment was successful, the spirit of Hermanubis would then dwell within the vessel. Many believers volunteered themselves for the experiment. But we soon discovered that the bodies of grown adults could not withstand Hermanubis' power. In the end, Bamoon offered his own adoptive grandson. One other child was identified as a suitable vessel, and his parents agreed to release him into our custody in exchange for a small fortune. These two children were our only hope for hosting Hermanubis' power.
Uh-oh. Cyno was one. So he said adoptive grandchild. Are you saying that Sethos also has the ability? Because if you notice, they're both electro type.
For many years, the Temple of Silence had been in possession of 2 Ba fragments from Hermanubis. As remnants of his raw power, they were exceedingly rare treasures. The test subjects were sent into a room that had been prepared for the ceremony, and instructed to approach the Ba fragments, whose power had been amplified. If, after some time, this power did not repel them, this would mean that they were suitable vessels. The original plan was for a 3-stage experiment: resonance, implantation, and recovery and observation. The resonance stage went quite smoothly for both candidates. As the second stage began, I realized a decision had to be made. Should we implant the fragments one at a time? This would allow us to monitor the results after the first round and adjust our plan accordingly. Or alternatively, we could implant each fragment in a different vessel at the same time and compare their effects. But as I was deliberating, both Ba fragments suddenly became active. They glowed with a light we had never seen before. I knew that if they were not implanted right away, they would disintegrate and be gone from the world for good. Our 2 vessels had both displayed great promise by successfully resonating with the fragments. Under the circumstances, the thought of implanting both fragments into the same vessel seemed out of the question. To preserve our faith and our power, we implanted each of them with a single fragment.
Ultimately, I ended the experiment and left, taking one of the children with me.
In recognition of your past contributions, I chose not to send someone to hunt down and kill you both. Your lives were spared, but I have paid a great price for your betrayal ever since. I have always wanted to see you, Cyno. Losing you and your Ba fragment dealt us a devastating blow. We've been in decline ever since you left.
I see. So that's how I gained my power.
Look, in essence, I borrowed your Ba fragment for a decade or so. And now you are seeking justice. If you want to take my life, then so be it. I'm an old man now anyway. But you cannot lift a finger against Cyno. He is the General Mahamatra. Your actions would be seen as a declaration of war against the Academia.
I'm sure you don't remember anymore, dear Cyno, but you've met us all before. You were so young then, when we all gathered around and celebrated the revival of our Lord. You and he, Sethos. You were our final hope.
Uh-oh. Because if you notice, he's Electro just like him, so that means he has the same power.
You'd like me to return my power?
As a follower of Hermanubis, I have allowed this power to remain in the rainforest for far too long. Now, it is time to reclaim it.
That power is not yours to reclaim. Cyno was chosen by the gods. You cannot take what they have bestowed.
You are wrong. Cyno was chosen, but he was not the only one. My child, Sethos, has the same gift as he.
So those are your terms for freeing the professor?
Despise me all you want. My sins are my own. The Temple of Silence is an innocent party. It is because of my foolishness all those years ago that the Temple's glory has waned. And now I must take responsibility for the decision I made back then.
So what you're saying is, the power of one Ba fragment is not enough? You're asking me to return the one in my possession, so it can be implanted in him instead?
Divine power causes great suffering to those who wield it. How do you know that Sethos would be able to withstand it?
He is no longer a small child. But regardless, this burden is ours to bear. And your objections mean little given that you turned your back on us long ago.
Both my heart and mind are telling me that what you are proposing is a terrible idea. However...
Don't listen to him, Cyno. That power is no more yours to give than it is his to take. You have to understand.
I know. But if this is a question of your freedom versus a fragment of power, then... there is nothing to debate.
Sorry to interrupt, but in my view, there are a number of contentions here that still need addressing. Say that Cyno refuses to return his power, and you also refuse to release Cyrus. Then, we are at an impasse. I find it hard to believe that you went to all this effort without planning for that possibility. You're trying to gauge where we stand while keeping your remaining cards close to your chest. Well, my stance is, put the rest of your cards on the table. Then we can have a discussion.
Wait, those ears. So, we have a descendant of the Valukashuna in our midst. Splendid! Fate smiles upon us after all. Everything we have longed for, Hermanubis will provide. Perhaps this very day we will...
Death.
Why is he coughing so much? He looks like he's in really bad shape.
Ba Moon's condition is critical. He must have been forcing himself to act strong. His eyesight must be failing him too. Otherwise, he would have noticed Tanari's ears right away.
Moon, you...
Take our leader back to his room.
Sethos... you...
Grandfather, I know what you wish to say. Leave this in my hands.
He's gonna try to take that shard by force.
I don't like to drag out conversations, so I'll just cut to the chase. Had Cyrus not stopped the experiment all those years ago, the plan would most likely have been a success. The wisdom of Hermanubis would have been ours. Still, it's no use talking about what ifs. We cannot change the past. I'm not like my grandfather. The Temple of Silence has a grand legacy and a sacred duty to fulfill. So it's somewhat inevitable for the leader to have an inflated sense of self, but I see things a little differently. I don't believe the temple has the same stature that it once did. Time has worn away at its prestige and changed things almost beyond recognition. So I'm not going to force your hand. You're all free to leave, except for Cyrus. My grandfather gave him his chance once, and now I'm giving the rest of you yours.
You have courage and wise judgment, kid. Reminds me a lot of Bamoon in his younger years. I truly wish that the temple would take an objective look at the academia of today. You've been to the city yourself. I'm sure you've seen that much has changed for the better, and things will only continue to improve. Why not consider cooperating with the academia once more?
If you hadn't betrayed my grandfather, I might well be open to persuasion. But it's a bit too late for that now, Cyrus.
Tainari made a good point earlier. He said there has to be more to your plan than this, and I agree. All you and Ba Moon are after is the Ba Fragment. The professor will accept whatever fate you deem fit for him out of a sense of guilt. I am the one who has a choice to make. And that's how it was always going to be. Ultimately, you want to trade the Ba Fragment for the professor, correct?
I'm glad to see you're giving it some serious consideration.
I won't forsake my professor, nor do I intend to run from a problem that I must face sooner or later. Give me one night to make my decision.
That works. Then I'll be waiting to hear your verdict, Cyno. Oh, my grandfather still has a fair few things he wants to say to Cyrus, so I'll be escorting him back now.
Are you sure about negotiating with him?
That loading, bro.
I need to think this through. Everyone, let's meet again later tonight. Until then, take some time for yourself.
Alright, well, don't put too much pressure on yourself, Cyno. If you need any help working things out, just come and find us.
They make it seem like taking the fragment is that easy. I think what it actually is if they try taking it from him, I think he'll die, right? Like they didn't say that, but they're not saying that. Oh, Jesus Christ. Can I climb this? I cannot. Sad. What time are we at? What did it say? 22? 20? Yeah, it is that way. Okay. I'm just looking around for a minute because I don't know if they hit stuff around here. Those ladies look really small from a distance. I'm just trying to look around because in events like this, sometimes they hide chests and stuff, and this is like one of those areas that you can enter one time, but once the event is over, you can't come back, I don't think. So I'm like trying to make sure there isn't absolutely anything that I'm forgetting.
Follow the wind.
But then again, usually if there is a chest in an area, you would see it like instantly. And I haven't seen anything like that, so this area though. So you can't get up there. Well, I could if I do this. There, yeah, it's a wall. They're stopping me. I can feel a wall pushing him. Why would they do that?
Time to go.
There's literally a wall. Huh? Is that lantern hovering? No. Okay. Yeah, there's like a wall. If I try to get Scar and try to make him go up, there's like a wall. At least I felt it for a minute. Why is it? Huh? Maybe there isn't. It felt like there was. I felt something pushing him down. Maybe it's just the limitations of how high up he could go. This water being right here is weird. That sand looks realistic though. I'm gonna fall right in it. Green toxic water, bro. Oh, he's so short he starts to hover for a minute. Yeah, right there. Look at that. My dear. What the? Alright. The group gathers again at the agreed time.
I've taken some time to reflect on this. If I had to guess, Professor Cyrus came to the desert knowing that he would almost certainly never return. He's a stubborn man who tends to double down when he feels strongly about something. We won't get anywhere trying to convince him to escape.
I agree. My master Nephis says the same thing. Once Cyrus makes up his mind about something, he won't listen to reason.
So that's one thing. A few other things come to mind too.
Like what?
You've heard all you need to hear about the Temple of Silence. So on that, I don't have anything to add. My own memories of this place are hazy though. Probably something to do with the overpowering presence of the Ba fragments. That might explain why I suffered from constant headaches and fevers as a child. I do remember having some fleeting moments of profound emotion when vague images would appear in my mind. But I don't recall much, only bits and pieces. I was still young then, and all I could understand was that there was a strong will inside my mind. Thinking back on it now, I suppose it was Hermanubis' way of trying to encourage me, even if we couldn't communicate. The power that came to inhabit my spirit was probably one of the cornerstones of their whole faith. So if the will and might of Hermanubis is a real, intangible thing, and they are its rightful worshippers, then...
You're not gonna give in to their demands, are you? Surely there has to be another way!
Don't make any rash decisions, Cyno.
No. I have no intention of returning it. I need this power to protect Sumeru. But the temple has the right to make the final decision over its fate, since it belongs to one of the 7 pillars of King Deshret. So I will challenge them head-on, and win the right to wield this power for myself, fair and square.
This reminds me of something Alhaitham mentioned to me just before we left. He said that the Temple of Silence was originally founded by the ruling elite of the day. Traditionally, such organizations are bound by a strict and ancient code of nobility. Kaveh has made similar observations about the desert tribes from his work trips there. He says many of them have their own internal rules. They talk about the importance of never dishonoring their tribal bonds, or the rules laid down by their ancestors. I think we could turn that to our advantage. Go back to them with a proposal of our own.
You're gonna have Cyno fight Sethos, and whoever wins is the one who gets to leave.
Wow, and just like that, we've turned the tables on them!
Yeah, but you're so freaking loud, everyone's probably hearing what we're saying.
Looks like we have the same idea. Turn it back on them now while we still can, in terms that they cannot refuse. That's how we win this.
Sounds good to me, but can you really fight him?
Great. And I know just how to start the conversation. Let's go find Sethos. We'll tell him that I know a thing or two about medicine and would like to take a look at his grandfather's condition.
Oh my god, are we lying here? Are we lying? I mean, he does know about medicine, but like, is that a lie? It's like I just got that meme playing in my head that, what did he say? Oh. That meme. Oh god. Be funny if they hit a chest like off to the side, like way down on the bottom that you would never notice. What are you? Has anybody seen a creepy soul-staring child? I mean, I don't know how old he is. He'd have to be around the same age as Cyno, though. And Cyno's like 20-something, so...
Sethos, let's talk.
Open the door, freak.
Have you made up your mind?
God, he's like staring into my soul. I mean, I like his design and everything, but he's kind of creepish at the same time. I think they did change him, though, because he originally had a different look than this, from what I had saw. That's why I'm saying, did they change him from a bow to a sword type? I have no way of knowing until we actually see that.
We'll get to that, but first, I have some degree of medical training, so I was wondering if you might let me take a look at your grandfather?
I have no objections, although we do have our own doctors here. I doubt you'll be able to tell us anything we don't already know.
Only one way to find out.
Follow me. Keep your voices down. We don't want to disturb him.
You're staring into my soul, please stop. Tighnari takes out his medical kit and performs a basic medical exam for Bowman.
Let's talk outside. Bamoon has fallen into a deep coma, and his prognosis is quite grave. I'm sure that your physicians have come to the same conclusion. He appears to have sustained a serious injury in his youth, which has been exacerbated over the years by the heavy burden of work and now by the effects of old age. Regretfully, I must inform you that, based on what I've seen with patients in a similar condition, he doesn't have long left. A few days at most.
Yeah. I've known for a long time.
You're his heir, aren't you? You clearly have a lot of respect for the man. But you also see things differently. You have a broader range of concerns and a more pragmatic approach.
Well, he's not even his real grandson. He literally said he was adopted. So he probably says, oh yeah, he might have raised me as his grandson, but because I'm not really related to him, I don't really have ties to him and his beliefs, right? Or no?
So tell me how we can end this on your terms. Let's find a way to bring all this to a resolution while Bamoon is still alive to see it. That's what really matters to you. I know it.
Yeah, there's no time to waste here. You know that better than anyone.
He kind of gives like off an evil I don't care attitude, but I think he actually really does care. There's a lot of characters in this game just like this. Like they have like such a design where they seem like they're evil and don't give a fuck, but deep down inside they're really soft and they do care. Kind of like Arlecchino. She comes off as like really harsh and not caring, but she actually cared for that girl that was her friend that she had to kill, and she set her spirit free. Like she wanted to save her. And she actually cares, and had even used the flames to help people leave the House of the Hearth by erasing their memories. So if she was truly cold-hearted, she wouldn't done any of that. She wouldn't even allow people to leave at all. But she lets them leave and lets them have a chance at having a normal life. So based on her story, a lot of characters are like that in this game. They seem darker until you actually get to know him. Like, get to know them better.
You know, the two of you are actually in a very similar predicament right now. Both of you have a very different perspective from the men who raised you.
Right. And you didn't create this situation. They did, but somehow you've ended up having to make the tough decisions.
Yeah, they decided to put those fragments in you. You didn't decide that.
You're right. We both look at this problem very differently than the people we inherited it from. I accept, Cyno. This all began because of Hermanubis. So let's end it with the rite he himself created.
Who the shit?
Legend has it that when Hermanubis first arrived in Tuletula, he sparred with the city's residents. He and his two companions proved their mettle by fighting over several days, winning the support of many fine people. That group of supporters were some of the first members of the Temple of Silence, and the sparring matches were enshrined as one of our founding rites, the rite of duels. That's where it all began.
Now he's falling into our play because we literally just said that. We're like, oh, if we can get him to follow his traditions of fighting, if we can get Cyno to win the fight, then he has to agree to our terms.
Sounds very fitting. I'm in.
But can you really fight him, though?
As a fellow vessel of Hermanubis, your ties to the Temple of Silence run deep. So I will permit you to participate in this rite, along with your chosen companions.
3 against 3. Sounds good.
However, I have some additional terms. As the challengers, you must win all 3 of your fights to win. And Cyno, both of us must put our Ba fragment on the line. The winner takes them both.
Okay, but if the fragments are inside of them, where at? And how do you get it out exactly? Like, you're gonna do rip open his chest fucking Mortal Kombat style and pull out his heart that has it in it? Like, what's happening here?
Letting Cyrus leave with one of the Ba fragments was a mistake, made by my grandfather out of pity. It is a long-standing issue that must be addressed for the Temple of Silence to move forward. I can make no concessions on that front.
None needed. We're on the same page.
Glowing blue paint upon my raft on the wall.
If I win, the Temple of Silence must release Cyrus, and consider this past dispute resolved.
Knowing how Cyno is, I bet you he's not going to take that fragment from him, because he's got to look at it from his side too. He's like, well, I wouldn't want to lose my power because I needed to help protect myself and to protect the people of Sumeru. And he wouldn't want that power taken from him, so he's not going to want to take it from Sethos either. If anything, all he really wants is for them to release Cyrus, and then he's probably going to tell Sethos to keep his power and do whatever the hell he wants with his own life, because he has not had the other fragment all this time, so why would he need it now? Doesn't make any sense.
If you win, I'll return my power to you.
Oh?
It's a deal. Then let's meet at the ceremonial hall tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock.
Oh my god. Talk to Cyno! Freaking how tall up do these go? He's lower.
Well, after how that went, there's definitely no turning back now.
Can we really fight? I mean, I can, but Tighnari though.
There never was. Turning back hasn't been an option for me since the moment the professor slipped away to return to the desert.
You have to win. You need this power, both as General Mahamatra and for yourself.
Yeah, that's right! Besides, it's stayed with you ever since you were a small child! Surely that's a sign it thinks of you as its rightful owner!
Both as General Mahamatra and for myself. Yeah, when you put it that way. I've had to overcome a lot to tame this power and claim it for myself. Not everyone could have done that.
Exactly!
Let's not get sidetracked. We gotta focus on winning. We'll help you see this through.
The Traveler and I will never lose.
I won't, but can Tighnari really fight though? Have we ever seen him actually fight anything legitimately in the game? I want to say no. At least I don't remember ever seeing him fight anything.
And neither shall I.
Cyno, I believe, is competent enough though.
The desert was home to an ancient and great civilization that, for a variety of reasons, fell out with the civilization of the rainforest. It's just as Dia said. Prejudice has pushed people apart, but there must be personal factors at work here too. I can't shake the feeling that Ba cares for many more things than he lets on. And I don't think that Sethos is any kind of villain. He's just doing what he thinks is best. Tomorrow, everything will be resolved.
Oh my god. I don't know how this fight's gonna work, because if it's me, Cyno, and Tighnari, but usually with games like this game specifically, they say that, but they let you keep your main team. They might throw Cyno in as an added thing, but I don't know for certain, but I'm gonna preemptively add this crap. The only thing too, though, is I don't have any Electro, withstances, like a potion to withstand it. And that's what he is. I always liked areas like this. It's kind of funny too, because I did a video recently where I was like, man, I really like the desert areas. I kind of wish they would add more places. And then all of a sudden they added this new story chapter and we're back in the desert again. And I'm kind of like, huh? I know it's behind me, but I'm just, why is there a fucking Phoenix? I'm just looking around. See, I think I was in here earlier. So I'm trying to gauge how this place looks. Because that's the map of the area next to me, not actually where I am. So I'm like, huh?
Time to go.
Hold on, just take a look for a minute. I don't know, they didn't hide any chests at all, and usually when they do, it gets obvious. Normally some of these, that's the way, look at them just staring at me from over there. They make it obvious, and I hit, where does this go?
Time to go.
I haven't seen anything that would indicate that. Oh god, it's straight up an arena. I went the other way.
We gather on this day to perform once more the rite of duels, with the greatest of all sages, Lord Hermanubis, as our witness, for his power and authority is present in our midst.
When they say rite of duels, I just think of Duel of Fates from fucking Star Wars.
This is our most sacred of ceremonies, and no disruption from the audience shall be tolerated. It is incumbent upon all to observe the duel with the utmost respect and reverence throughout the proceedings. Representing the Temple of Silence, the Defenders.
Grandfather, you're here.
A rite of duels after all these years. I am surprised by your decision, Sethos.
I know what I'm doing, Grandfather. Just leave it to me.
Oh my god.
Representing the Academia, the Challengers.
We all have our own poses because we're so cool.
Ready. We will fight to have our voices heard.
Warriors, take your positions and decide on the order of battle. We come not to debate what brings our challengers here, nor what will become of the defeated duelists. Duelists, the might of Hermanubis himself is at stake here. Now, fight. Fight until the rightful victor is proclaimed.
I'll go first.
Huh? Are you sure?
I'm sure. We want to keep our morale out.
I agree. She's very strong. Sending her out first will definitely intimidate the opposing side.
Okay, then you're second.
And you're third.
Sure.
We have decided.
So have we. Let's begin.
Oh my god.
Duelists of the first bout, please step forward.
So, if I remember correctly, Cyno winds up fighting Sethos last, because they already know who's going first. They wouldn't send him out first. They can't. Makaseare. Leave it to me! Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. I left her as Hydro. I like the Electra one a lot, but I don't have it high leveled. Only my Hydra one is the strongest, so...
Don't forget, safety first!
Yeah!
You better play nice with her. Paimon will make you regret it!
Little bit too much chatter from the audience over there.
Why did they default me back to Dendro? That's ridiculous. My Dendro is my weakest one, but I'm doing pretty good, I guess. My stamina's so not... Huh? Water drop it. I'm Hazo.
A swift end to the first bout. I now invite the duelists of the second bout to please step forward. When you're both ready, you may begin.
Let's begin.
Okay, so he does his, or am I gonna do it for him?
Watch out!
I'm doing it for him.
He drank plenty of water before the bout, so he should be fine.
Water. Okay.
Let's nip that in the bud.
Yeah, his is better than the other one.
One with the force.
I think he does a better voice acting job than the previous guy. Doesn't sound ridiculous anymore. Yeah, I know they're hidden, but I don't really focus on that much. Oh god. That little drum. Taking me a while.
I hear everything.
That is pretty damaging. This is why I don't really get along with bow characters well, because you see how long it's taking me, because I'm just having to shoot from a distance, and it's like really slow. Because they do too many poses, like you see all the poses he's doing, and it's like, come on. His life's getting pretty low, I better be careful. As for a sword character, I'm like in their face and everything. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good to shoot from a distance, but I don't know. Come on. You have to resurface at some point, bro.
Can't see?
I want to use it, but I can't. Now I can.
I'll approve you!
Good. I'm Hato again. Now, here we go. This is the one that's gonna matter. It's Cyno versus Sethos. I like how they gave me a trial Tainari when I actually have him, but that one was stronger than the one I had, so it's good that they did that.
Thus ends the second bout. We will now move to the third bout. Duelists, please step forward.
I'm ready.
So am I.
Oh my god. Here we go.
This is the final stage of the rite. I remind you both that the terms you agreed upon in advance are binding. When you're both ready, you may begin!
I am Sethos, vessel of Hermanubis, grandson of Bamun, the leader of the Temple of Silence. For many years, we have kept our covenant with Lord Hermanubis by guarding the secrets of King Deshret. And even in our darkest hour, when we could not see a way forward, we chose not to abandon hope, but to embark on a brave new experiment so that we might prevail. We earnestly sought Lord Hermanubis' wisdom and power, longing to see his spirit and his light descend upon us. Now, I will fight to become the rightful wielder of that power!
Okay.
I am Cyno, General Mahamatra of the Academia, student and successor of Cyrus, the Sage of Spontamod. I fight in defense of my power, my professor, and my nation. And you. I think you left some things unsaid. This is a sacred duel, and Hermanubis is watching. So bare your soul.
Uh-oh.
Everyone, old and young, fit and frail, they're all waiting to see how this duel will end. My grandfather is a wise leader. He is also known to be a ruler who is not afraid to get blood on his hands. I understand his beliefs well, and I know what he expects of me, but our faith has held us back for too long. After I grew up, I went to the rainforest once, and I saw for myself the people of the city. Times have changed. The people of Sumeru are happier and more free now than in the past. I thought about this as I stood at one of the tallest points in the city, gazing down at the streets below. Then I thought of you, Cyno. You and I both wield the same power, but the lives we lead could not be more different. Each Ba fragment of Hermanubis stands for something different. Might, glory, and one of many other secrets that have yet to be revealed. I once thought that the nature of our fragments must be what makes us so different from one another. But maybe it's that you found your answer, and I am still searching for mine.
I am more than just a warrior. I am my own person.
Exactly.
That is a fucking hateful glare if I ever saw one.
The name Hermanubis has left its mark on both of us, shaped the course of our lives. We are his vessels, and yet we are more besides. So show me your answer, Cyno. Show me I can be more than my faith, more than the power I wield. Show me the person I can become! Bring it on!
They're both Electro, though. How's this gonna work? Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's all you've got. What happened is searching for your answer. Fight's over. Do you yield?
You won.
Well then, looks like you found your answer.
I give his glory to you.
I've seen that light. That is the light of our Lord, the great Hermanubis, priest over all other priests. His spirit dwells within that lightning, and his will lives on. Once a warrior of Tynar, he emerged from the barren desert sands to serve the god king Al-Akhmar. After the death of the god king, Hermanubis gathered his followers and the Tynarian priests and led them to the city of Tula. There, they founded the Temple of Silence, and from that day forth, we became stewards of all knowledge that survived from King Deshret's civilization. Barely a century passed before war ravaged the desert. One by one, Eremite leaders took up arms against each other in battles that would devour what little remained of their civilization. Only the wise city of Tula was spared under the guiding hand of the Tynarians. But peace did not last. Coveting the knowledge of King Deshret, the beasts set their eyes on Tula. The king of Gurabad laid siege to the city and ordered the sages to surrender to him the Temple of Silence as proof of his victory. The ruling elite colluded with their oppressors, betraying the temple so as to hold on to their rule over the city. They declared that the knowledge guarded by the temple was the true cause of corruption. These were dark days, and we faced enemies on all sides. Our Lord had long since exhausted his strength, keeping the forbidden knowledge introduced by King Deshret at bay. To ensure the temple's continued survival, he broke his being into many pieces and began the ceremony of Hermanubis' legacy, bestowing his power upon his mortal followers. With this power, the temple was able to defeat the tyrant's army. Yet, we were not hailed as heroes. Strange and unfamiliar as this power was, it struck fear into the people's hearts and drove them to reject us. In the end, the people of the temple and the Tula Tynarians left the city for good and made their way to the rainforest. What followed next was inevitable. The elite of Tula fell and were decimated. War engulfed the desert. And we wandered from place to place, always in hiding, all the while keeping close watch over our secrets and staying true to our mission. Betrayal forced us out of the desert and into the forest. Then mistrust drove us from the forest into the desert once more. We have lived in exile for far, far too long. Yet, today, the Temple of Silence has borne